Hey everybody, this is John Q with ComicWow TV, and standing next to me is the one and only Jamal Igle, and we know him with, of course, his Supergirl, but Molly Danger. And so Molly Danger just got its Kickstart.
Yes, we fully funded. We got about $50,000, a little over $50,000, and yeah, so I'm very, very happy. And it actually, honestly, like, it didn't even really dawn on me that this was actually happening until a couple of days ago. Like, the Kickstarter ended on August 31st, but I was still, like, kind of checking the Amazon payments account and see what was coming in and what was getting, like, just because you never know, because, you know, people have a tendency with Kickstarters, especially towards the end, that they see you've got your funding, some people will cancel, some people's credit cards get rejected, you know, it happens, it's a part of life. But then, like, when I looked at the payments account and I saw, like, the final tally after all the fees were taken out, I started laughing like an idiot for about 20 minutes. Like, I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe that this actually is happening. Yeah.
So during it, how stressed were you as you were watching? Was the money coming in fast, slow, and you were like, oh my God, this is not going to happen?
Well, we had a really nice bump when it first launched for like the first week, and I think we got up to about like 15, 16 grand, and then it slowed down for a couple of weeks. So then we got like a nice bump of like $1,000 here, $5,000 there, but it really didn't start to come in. Like, the bulk of the donations didn't really start to come in until towards the end, maybe like the last week of the campaign. So, especially like the way that I was going about doing is I was doing a lot of promotion. I was doing a lot of PR. You know, I was doing a lot of podcast interviews and a lot of print. Getting, you know, I was doing literally like the first 2 weeks doing one interview every night, like one podcast every night or every day for like 2 weeks. And when you get to that point, it's exhausting. It really is, because I don't really like talking about myself that often anyway. But it really, like, it stretches you. And then, you know, you get to that midway point and things are trickling in and it's getting slower and slower. And you feel, I started to feel a little dismayed, you know. But luckily, I have like a really strong support system. My wife is like the rock, really, of the family, and she was the one who's just like, you know, this is going to happen. You know, you just take it easy. I know you're tired. I know, you know, you're stressed out a little bit. You know, you just let it happen. You know, let it run its course.
And then, as we know, it did. It actually did.
It did. But, you know, even in case, I mean, we had already set up a plan B and a plan C just in case we didn't get the funding. And towards the end, I was really more kind of just sort of like just, if it wasn't going to happen, then it wasn't going to happen. We'd move on to plan B, which means we'd still do Molly, but it would take longer to come out. It'd have to take more freelance work or whatever, or, you know, fill it in with, you know, my other projects. But luckily, because it's gone through this, you know, the amount of money, not only can I pay for production and pay for printing and pay for the incentives and pay, the fees are already covered. I just have to worry about the taxes. And, you know, it's nice to have that bed there, you know, so you don't have to worry about that. You're not counting on, you know, the returns afterwards, because the money, you know, the print run is already paid for. So.
Well, if you could, can you let us all know, tell us a little bit about Molly Danger and what she's going to be doing.
Okay, Molly Danger, it's a 4-book hardcover graphic album series, European-style graphic album series. So it'll be 9 by 12 inches, oversized albums. And basically the story of Molly Danger, Molly is the world's greatest superhero. She's 10 years old, but she's been 10 years old for the last 20 years.
All right.
So she's essentially immortal. She is the protector of a city called Coopersville, which is in upstate New York. She lives and operates out of the Molly Danger Museum and Gift Shop, otherwise known as the Molly Dome. She has a Molly mobile. There's Molly merchandise, Molly T-shirts. You know, she's beloved. You know, she's the world's greatest superhero. But at the same time, she's sort of a princess in an ivory tower. She doesn't have any friends. She doesn't have a real life. She doesn't have a secret identity. All she knows about herself is that, for as long as she can remember, she's been Molly Danger. And that's really where the story picks up, because we introduce a character named Austin Briggs. Molly works with an organization called DART, Dangerous Action Response Team. Austin joins DART because he has an ulterior motive. He wants to get close to Molly because he's trying to get close to Molly so that he can use his connection with Molly to get closer to his new stepson, Brian. And he and Brian have a very rough relationship, but Brian is a Molly Danger fan. So Austin breaks the rules and brings Molly home for dinner. So that's where the story sort of takes off.
All right. Well, we're gonna leave the rest of it and let them come to see you and buy your books to get the rest of it. Now, if I can, just real quick before we have a few more minutes, how has social media really helped with not only ever since you started this, but even with Molly Danger? How has social media helped you with that?
It was huge. Actually, I don't think we would have done anywhere near as well with the Kickstarter if I didn't have as many friends of mine, really just, people like Gail Simone and Neil Gaiman and Brian Hitch and Paul Story and Ron Mars and Phil Hester, Kurt Busiek, like retweeting friends of mine like Carolyn Johnson and guys from CGS and from, No Apologies and DC Noise, just, banging the drum for me, and even for myself, like, I'm already had like a fairly heavy media presence, as far as social media anyway, but I discovered things that I did. I had, friends, Erica Schultz, hit me to this website called Hootsuite. And, I signed up for a Hootsuite account. I got the pro account. I was able to send out hit 30 Facebook groups at the same time every day for 30 days, just getting the word out there. And most people were actually really good. You have one or two people who were just kind of like getting annoyed because the groups weren't that active. So, you start posting stuff every day, it starts looking like spam, and that was not my intention at all. But, with a campaign like this, you really have to get out there and beat the drum and let as many people know as possible. And if it weren't, Gail Simone did a really nice interview with me for Comic Book Resources. Benita Rogers interviewed me for Newsarama. It was the ability to get that mass message across. So LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Google Plus, all that stuff came into play.
And now I will have to put a shameless plug in. And now us, ComicWow, you're going to be with us, and we will be helping you as well, just like everybody else. And before we finish, I just want to say welcome to Baltimore. And how do you like our Comic-Con?
I love the show. I've been coming here probably on a regular basis for at least the last 7 or 8 years. So
that's a good sign. You keep coming back. So
it's a great show. It keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I love Mark and Shelley Nathan. I mean, they're awesome people, and I just look at the size. Look at how big this show is this year. This is amazing. It's great.
It really is. I just want to say again, Jamal, thank you very much for taking the time to talk to us. Everybody, again, Jamal Igle. Look for Molly Danger. This is John Q with ComicWow TV.